Today, so I'm gonna keep the door open. All right. What I was saying before I started rambling. Back to the initial question that I was asked. How did I get into this? And again, the title of today's video is Organic Portals and What to Be Aware of. How I got into this. When I was a kid, I had experiences. You know, one time I saw, and I'm really reluctant to share this with people. But one time I saw an entity. And even as I speak this now, I'm reluctant to describe. Okay, I was given the permission to describe what I saw, because I'm connected with my higher self. Okay, I was around 5 years old, and I remember one time getting out of the bed to go to use the bathroom. And this was in my older house when I was growing up. And I remember crossing over the hallway, and at the end of the hall, it was a bedroom. The door was open, and the bathroom was on the opposite side of the hallway. So when I came out of my room and looked over my left shoulder, I saw the Grim Reaper. It had, you ever seen like the Grim Reaper? It has like that skeleton face. This thing had the staff in its hand. It had the hoodie on, and it had like this dry ice smoke emanating from around it. And it had like this green glow coming from out of the hood, but you could still see the face. And what I'm telling y'all, I don't care if you believe me. I don't care if you think this is crazy or if I'm making this up. I know this is what I saw. I wasn't on drugs. I wasn't diagnosed with no type of mental conditions or anything. And I remember looking over my shoulder. I looked that thing directly in his eyes, and I yelled to the top of my lungs, and I started banging on my parents' room. And I kicked the door so hard that I had cracked the bottom of their door. And when I got into their room, I jumped into bed with them and I went to sleep. They were asking me like, what was wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Why are you crying and stuff? And I never told anyone about this until I got around 13 or 12 years old, when I finally told the story to my parents. Because at the time, when they was asking me what was wrong, I was too young. I was about 5. I was too young to tell them. And I was so, in shock at the time that I couldn't even form the words. That was one time. Another time, I remember laying in my bed, and I'm giving you all just a timeline history of things that has happened to me and how my eyes just started opening up to the spiritual realm. I was in my bed one time, and I heard this loud argument in my head. But it was the voice of my parents and my mother and father. And it was like a turned up volume in my head, like a radio sound. These are just little stories. And as I got older, by the time I entered middle school and high school, I always knew that I was different from the rest of the kids. Now, mind you, I wasn't talking about organic portal information then. But I always knew that I was different. The teachers knew it. Every girl I would meet, they were always, by the time we 30 minutes in the date or at when I was doing that type of stuff then, they would always be like, something's different about you. They'd be like, something's different about you. So I guess they was just picking up on a different vibe or whatever I had. So by the time I went through high school, I remember one time in high school, this girl was talking to me, and she asked me, she said, "Are you an alien?" She asked me this. I was about in 11th grade. She asked me, was I an alien? I'm just giving y'all like a timeline of how I got into this information. So then by the time I'm in the 12th grade, and by the way, I was raised from a religious black background. Okay, so by the time I got into the 12th grade, I got into like a lot of books. I started out with Black history books, like the so-called, the conscious movement. So I started learning a lot of history about America, slavery, then I started researching stuff about, the Nation of Islam. Those were my initial stages into it. But then by the time I got a little older, I realized that, yeah, I learned some information, but something's still not right. Yeah, this is bigger than just some white people. And I was like, nah, this is bigger than that. So I would tell people and they wouldn't get it because they were so caught up on skin color and stuff like that. And I was like, nah, it's deeper than that. It's way deeper than that. So that's when I started going off and starting my own thing. At one time, I had an organization that I had started. And I remember holding a meeting at the library. And at the library, I had some of those traditional people in there with traditional views about things. And when I started talking about chakras and mind you, this was before that YouTube was out like that. This was like 2006, around that time, when it wasn't like a fringe, like a woke movement, a hashtag. Before all this little Instagram stuff, I'm talking about way back when information like this was not like all on YouTube and stuff like that. I'm talking about when the people that were in it, you had to find them like in bookstores and things like that, or like a nature store where they sell candles and stuff like that. That's when I was in it. But I started to deviate from a lot of people because I started getting deeper and deeper into this idea that I had that, you know what, this thing is deeper than what it is, than what's been told. And that's when I came across the information and I said, wow, this is confirmation to everything that I've been saying to myself. And ever since then, I haven't looked back. Ever since then, I haven't looked back. And, I hope this is confirmation to some of you all. And it's like when I go back to, when I think in my mind about how I used to think, it wasn't so far off, but I realized that I had to go through those stages to get to the point where I'm at now. You see, because that's why I don't neglect your past. You know what I'm saying? Everything makes us who we are. The good, the bad, the ugly. We have to, grow and learn from all of our experiences. And you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Some of the things I learned from the past, it helped me get to where I'm at today. But none of these people, none of these teachers, none of these philosophers I was listening to when I was in the church, when I was, visiting the Nation of Islam mosque, whatever. They wasn't talking about organic portals and that's right, and souls and all of that. And then I'm like, now that I'm older and I got it, I'm like, nobody is talking about this. This is what it's all about. It's like everybody tiptoeing around the issue, and this is really what it's all about. Now, getting into like some things to be aware of in this organic portal realm. Like today, I had walked into McDonald's, right? And it was a worker. He looked like a Hispanic worker. Looked like he was about 16, 17. And I seen him talking and greeting everybody who came in. But when I looked at him and when he looked at me, it's like he was about to say something, but he held back his words. I looked at him, he looked at me, and he like paced back and forth like he wanted to say something. But then he read that he was engaged with a real one that was in front of him. And what I'm trying to tell y'all is these people forget the body. That's just the cover. He realized when his spirit engaged with me, that spirit that was behind him, it wasn't a good spirit. And if you were to look at this boy, he wasn't no like bad looking person. He was like a regular high schooler with a job. But when he saw me, he knew, he saw the presence. He saw the aura around me. Because these people out here are operated by spirits. See, if I was like one of these other people, these regular walking around people, I wouldn't have been able to notice him for what he was, just like he noticed me for what I was. And this is another thing y'all must be aware of. These people out here, these organic portals, they know what we are saying. It's true. But it's like they are on the other side of the fence. They're not going to ever reveal themselves. What we are dealing with, people, are spirits that are eons and eons of years old. For those of you who don't know what eons mean, that means like a long time, like that you can't have no type of determination of. It's just like eons and eons. Yeah, so these spirits have been here for eons. And somebody else had asked a good question on the other video I just posted about reincarnation. Why are we here in the first place? And case in point, these spirits have been here for a long time. I said on my last channel that organic portals don't leave this realm. So I'm answering that person's question who left that comment. Organic portals do not leave this realm. They just keep regenerating. They just like the seasons. The leaves will fall. The foliage will, break up. The leaves will turn brown and it'll go back into the ground. They are the ones that's caught up in this cycle. Us with souls, we are just waking up. We are not a part of these seasons, summer, spring, winter, fall. All of this stuff is like a color prism prison. And it's like a color prism prison. She's calling me right now. Come on, man. I'm gonna have to call her back. Damn, right in the middle of my video. Hold on, y'all.